We all want to be that student, the one who excels, balances everything, and just seems to have it all figured out. But what does it take to be the perfect student? Hello, my name is Maria. I am currently in my master's degree. I also work part-time. I'm also a content creator here on YouTube as well as Instagram and TikTok. I still manage to go to the gym, go running. I still manage to have a social life. I still manage to travel, go out with friends, and have time for myself. So today I am spilling all of the time management and study tips you need in order to become that student. In this video, we will be focusing on university, but obviously all of these tips apply to school or to any other type of learning, whether that be for your own fun because you want to learn something new or you want to learn a language or anything really. When I got to university, one of my biggest struggles would be that I would just waste so much time. Don't get me wrong, university is the time to just have fun and go out, but I sometimes wouldn't even do that. I would just stay at home and intend to study, but then I would never study. I would just procrastinate the entire day, then feel really bad in the evening that I haven't done anything productive with my day, and I also haven't really relaxed the whole day because I felt so bad about not studying. Then in the evening, I would sometimes start studying, then I would realize that I'm way too tired and way too unfocused, and then the cycle would just repeat over and over and over again. I learned that I thrive when I have some sort of structure in my day. It doesn't need to be a really fixed structure, but I need that in order to be productive. So if you don't need to have a fixed structure because all of your classes are at random times and you don't need to wake up at the same time every single day, make one. Build a routine and stay consistent with it. It is so helpful to wake up around the same time every single day. To have a few activities that you do in the morning that recharge you and really help you start the day on a good note. Do something that you enjoy. Listen to some music, read something, journal, go work out. It gives you so much energy, and I feel like so many people underestimate the importance of a routine and of a little bit of structure. One of the most valuable parts about a routine is after some time, you won't even have to think about what you need to do. You will just do those things automatically. All of these healthy habits that you've built into your routine will become second nature to you. You won't even have to drag yourself out of bed. You won't even have to convince yourself and make yourself pack your gym bag and go to the gym because it's just gonna be easy. It's gonna be effortless because you've built this routine and you're just used to doing that. One of the best ways to expand your mind is through learning a new language. I struggled with consistency for a while I was trying to learn Spanish until I found the right tools and guidance. That's why I'm so excited to announce that I am affiliated with Lingoda, which is an online language school that's been a game changer for me. Lingoda isn't just another language app. It's a completely online language school offering live classes with native speaking teachers. Whether you're a beginner or you're looking to perfect your skills, Lingoda tailors your experience to your personal goals. They even offer a really cool sprint program, which is a 2-month challenge where you earn 50% cashback if you take all the classes. Or you can just stick to the flexible program. You can choose whatever time works for you, and classes are really small, so you'll always get to participate and get the personalized attention that you need. Are you ready to take your language skills to the next level? Click the link in my bio to sign up and try their free trial. You'll also get a special discount through my link. Time management is not difficult. You don't need to be a robot. You don't need to be working 24/7. You don't need to have this elaborate and complicated system in order to be productive and in order to have good time management. There are a few basics that if you nail those, you're gonna have so much more time. You won't have to spend evenings studying because you will get so much done during the day. You will start doing things that would normally take you 10 hours in half that amount of time. You will just be on top of things. First of all, make studying part of your routine. It's so much easier to study 2 hours a day than to study nothing for 5 days and then suddenly realize that you need to study 10 hours in one day. The 2 hours a day are going to help you way more because you get that repetition with those 2 hours a day. You learn something, you reapply that the next day, you remember it way better. Then you need a to-do list. Make a to-do list, make it either the night before or right in the morning, first thing when you're sitting down at your desk to study, and write down all of the things that you want to study that day. And then you will look at that list and see what is the most difficult thing. What is that thing that you really don't want to do? That thing that is like, no, let's not do it. Let's do it later. Circle that thing. Put a 1 next to it. Whatever. Highlight it. and do that first. Always do the most difficult thing first. There are two main reasons for it. First of all, you won't go the whole day thinking I still have this difficult thing that I want to do, and you won't keep procrastinating and keep wasting time because you know you have this difficult thing that you need to do. And second of all, you show yourself that you are capable of doing difficult things. After you've done the most difficult thing that you need to do that day, everything else will be easy. You've already gotten the hard part out of the way. Now you get to enjoy the rest of the day and just do these easier tasks. Use time blocking. Put all of the things you need to do in your calendar and block out times for each of them. Especially if you're working or you have a side hustle next to your studies, this is super helpful. You need to have separate times for studying and working, and you need to focus on just that one thing. If you have a study block, then you are studying, you're not doing anything else in that time. And you need to put that in your calendar. Block it out. This is time to just study. Nothing else. Nothing else comes between you and that study time. You can also block out times for breaks, social events, hobbies, workouts, whatever. Just make sure that you have clear times when you're gonna study, you're gonna be focusing on that. Same goes with work or any other thing. If you cannot concentrate at home and you always get distracted, you always grab your phone, you start doing TikTok dances, you start doing random stuff in the middle of the day, go to a cafe or buy a library pass. Go somewhere where there's a bunch of other people who are also working. It feels so much easier working next to someone who's also working, and you're less likely to check your phone because you kind of feel bad for being on your phone while everyone else is working. That's why I really love libraries, I love cafes, even bookstores sometimes have this nook where you can order a coffee and just sit down and work, or you might not even have to order a coffee. Sometimes they just have these places where you can just read. Be organized. Stop telling yourself, well, I'm just not an organized person. No, now you are. You need to declutter your desk before you start working. You need to make sure that the space around you is clean because you study way better when you don't see clutter out of the corners of your eyes. Take 5 minutes before you even sit down and declutter stuff. This is science. Our brain likes pretty stuff. So have a nice study space. Buy a planner. Put up a poster. Make it feel comfortable. Make it feel cozy. Make it feel put together so that you're also looking forward to sit in that place for hours and study. Get a planner. Plan your semester ahead, know when you have exams, put it in your calendar months before. Whenever the professor announces the exam date or the date that an assignment is due, put it in your calendar. Also, clean up your digital space. You for sure don't need those old screenshots anymore. Delete them. You're probably gonna need some storage space for all the new notes and all the new papers and everything, so just clean that up as well. Be organized and prioritize things. Know what is your priority and what is not. It's not worth it to spend way too much time doing an assignment that's worth 5% of your final grade. I'm not saying don't do it. I would definitely do that, but don't spend too much time on it. I mean, if you have an exam that is 100% of your grade and you need to study for that and also do an assignment that is 5% of your grade, which one is the priority? If you are my university professor, please click off from this video, like right now. I think going to some lectures is a waste of time. Some professors will just read from the slides that they provide you beforehand and add nothing else. I used to be the person who would always go to all the lectures until I kind of thought about it and I did a little test. For normal lectures, we don't need to be present. So if you do need to be present in order to get a good grade, of course, be present. But if you don't have to be, don't do what I did. Don't just go there for the sake of going there. At the end of my bachelor degree, I had this class where the professor would just read off the slides. What I started doing is I started using the time that it would take me to get ready, to spend half an hour commuting to university, to sit in the class for 2 or 3 hours, and to get back in order to study. And those were approximately 45 hours. And let me tell you, I would always finish the material in 2 hours, including doing my own research online, looking at YouTube videos, learning more, even going further than the material that was presented to me in class. In conclusion, just think about if it's worth it going to those lectures, you know? Just take a second to think. This is your reminder that copying whatever is written on the lecture slides, if you also have the slides, is not efficient note-taking. I mean, yeah, it feels good because you're doing something, but It is not efficient and you know that. I find it so helpful to just use Notion, have all your lectures there, have a separate section for each class. I will also usually create one page for each lecture and just have all of them listed in that class and write down whatever is extra to those slides or whatever lecture material you're being provided. But you don't need to just copy whatever is already written on there. You're just wasting time. And also the most efficient way I've taken notes is to just look at the material. Ideally, you do this before or after class. Write the notes as questions. So if the professor says the color of the sky is blue, don't write the color of the sky is blue. Write what is the color of the sky in a toggle so you don't see the answer, and then write the answer as blue. So when you're done with taking notes, you not only have all your notes, but you already have questions that you can use in order to study way more efficiently. So studying really varies from one subject to the other, and you need to keep that in mind. It's not one size fits all. What you need to do first and foremost is just set the vibe. So let's assume you have a clean desk, otherwise go and clean your desk. Grab a little snack, grab something to drink, have some water, maybe some caffeine if you want to. Put on some lo-fi music or some classical music. There are so many playlists on YouTube, or even piano music. You can search for your favorite artist and piano, and usually you'll find some covers and they're really chill. If I'm studying in a public place, I like to have noise cancelling headphones because noise bothers me. Once the vibe is set, you can begin. And let me start by saying this: rereading the same thing over and over again and just highlighting stuff is not an efficient study technique. For topics like biochemistry, anatomy, genetics, biology, also chemistry, histonomy, things like that, it's really helpful to create Anki cards. Anki cards are a type of flashcards, but it is a better method because it will show you the cards in a specific order and a specific amount of times, depending on how you rate how you did with those cards. So for every card, you will have to rate how easy it was for you to answer that question, and then it will show you the card more or less depending on that. I have studied for some of the hardest exam I had to do with Anki because it's really easy to memorize big amounts of information and also some complicated information in relatively little time. And it works pretty well for things that need to be learned by heart. A study technique that is best used for things where you really need to understand in depth what is happening, where you need to maybe explain a certain concept in the exam, is the Feynman technique. You are basically just studying something or reading a chapter from a book, and after you finish that, you will try to explain that concept or that chapter in your own words without looking at the resources anymore. This works wonders because you will really realize how well prepared you are, and also you will know if you're not well prepared. Oftentimes we will read a chapter and we say, oh, okay, no, I got this. This is common sense, I understand. But then if you have to explain it, you cannot really explain that. And the Feynman technique solves this problem. A pretty similar technique is blurting, where you're also reading a chapter or a part of a chapter or just a concept, and then you're writing down everything that you can remember from that topic. Then again, you go back to what you read in the first place and you can check what you remembered, what you didn't remember, maybe you missed some really important information, and that really helps you notice what you still need to study. In terms of time and how to study or how long to study, I really like Pomodoro, and I use a lot of Pomodoro timers, whether it's YouTube videos that have study music with an integrated Pomodoro timer or just a random Pomodoro app. Pomodoro is basically studying for 25 minutes and then taking a 5-minute break. I like to do this with 50 and 10 minutes. You can really adjust the intervals. The main point is that in that time where you're studying, you're actually studying, otherwise you need to repeat the interval, so you start from the beginning. This is especially helpful when you don't feel really motivated, you're not really in the mood to study. Pomodoro makes it easy because 25 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, and also you always get that break. You have something to look forward to. Some side tips is, first of all, do not do the bare minimum. When I'm in a rush and I study for an exam and I just do the bare minimum, first of all, it's not that fun. And second of all, also, I don't do that well in the exam. It's really not worth it to do the bare minimum. It's way better to try to immerse yourself into the topic, to read some additional stuff just for your understanding. That will also benefit you in the exam or in whatever you're trying to present. It is always good to know more than the bare minimum. And also, don't shy away from exercises. I know it's not fun to have to sit down and do maths for hours or do things like accounting. I know it's boring, but it is really helpful, and there are certain exams again, like math, accounting, statistics, stuff like that, where the best way to study is through doing exercises. And there's no way around that. There's nothing cute or romantic or nice or productive about not sleeping, about constantly sacrificing your sleep in order to study. And I promise you, you can be a good student, you can be the most amazing student, the perfect student, while still getting 8 hours of sleep. There's this really good book called While We Sleep by Matthew Walker, where they also talk about an experiment that they did with people who either studied something and then slept for a full 8 hours, or studied something, slept for way less than that, let's say 4 hours, and then studied again. And the first group, who studied only once and slept for the full night, actually performed better in the test that they were given. Our brain needs to rest in order to retain the information. So studying more won't benefit you if you are sacrificing sleep because of that. Get a life. You don't need to be an academic weapon. You can be an academic weapon while still seeing your friends, while still having a social life. You do not need to give up things that you enjoy doing in order to study. Having hobbies, doing extracurricular stuff, having friends makes you a better student because it provides you with balance. It provides you with something that takes your mind off of studying. More is not always better. That also applies to studying. Sometimes we just need to take a break. We need to clear our minds and do something else. University is the perfect time to make friends. A lot of people are looking for friends in that time. With people you meet in university, you already have some common ground. There are so many things you can do. There are so many parties, activities organized by universities or organized by student organizations. There are so many things to do. Your social calendar can be so full if you want it to be. I have never loved university as much as I do now. My university life now is completely different than what it was 3 or 4 years ago. Back then, all I was doing was studying. Of course, I was seeing a few people, but mostly because they were also studying with me, and we would often just see each other in order to study, which, don't get me wrong, that was really nice. But now I do things that have nothing to do with studying. I work, I create content, I spend way less time on studying, and right now I love being a university student. It is so fun. At the end of the day, it is not that deep, and you will be so glad if you make memories during university. But meaningful memories are not you just sitting at your desk and studying, but meaningful memories are made with friends and people and doing stuff and doing activities. You know, there are more important things than good grades. And one thing university taught me is that sometimes your grades don't even matter. We might pour our heart and soul into studying and getting good grades, but sometimes getting an internship is more important, or having the right network is more important. Sometimes having a friend who works in a company and can tell you that there's a job opening, or they can recommend you, or they can put you in contact with someone, sometimes that is way more valuable than having a good grade. Think about things outside of good grades that also matter for your future. You know, getting bad grades or failing an exam is not the end of the world. The world will just continue spinning. There were times where I was dealing with something and I wasn't in a good place and I failed an exam because I was purely incapable of studying and concentrating. And I would feel so bad and think that this is so unfair, and I just ruined my life because my mental health wasn't in the right space, and there's just this chain reaction. But guess what? I graduated, I got my degree, I'm doing a master's degree now. Life went on. Everything fell into place. I promise you the earth will continue spinning and your life will go on, and you will see that it will all work out in the end. Well, have fun studying. Bye bye.